So, you've got a shop in the 50s where there's an alien that wants to eat people. Now, I'm sure I've seen a story like that before.
Feed me! Does it have to be mine? Feed me!
Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name's Kevin, I am a geek. You're watching Kevin the Geek, and it's time for another New Who Doctor Who review. I'm on my way to 100 subscribers. Please do consider subscribing if you are new. I'm loving all of the support that you guys are giving me, and I'm loving that you're loving the content. So, we have a new episode today. It is from season 2, and it is The Idiot's Lantern. This is an episode that I often skip, and upon re-watching, I can understand why, but then also I think I do it a bit of an injustice. And it's a bit of a strange one, I think, in this episode. So the story in of itself, with it being around Queen Elizabeth and her coronation and about people gathering around TVs, which at that time was very, very scarce, it is an interesting idea, and having an alien be part of the picture, pun not intended there, is actually quite an interesting concept. The execution, however, particularly of the villain, was mixed at best. So I'll start with the villain because I want to get it over and done with, out of the way. The villain was dreadful. The constant all the way through the episode of,
and I'm hungry. 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 Feed me.
all the way through, I'm just, ugh, shut up! Ugh, I just, every time I wanted to turn off my own TV to save my own sanity. It was dreadful. I mean, I could say the actress who did that, the moments that she was a normal sort of 1950s Fanny Craddock-esque type person on the TV, she did okay. But it was the constant feed me bit of it. I just wanted to basically slip my wrists. It was that painful to watch. Now, the Doctor in this episode, I thought was probably slightly above average. It wasn't amazing. I love the interaction between the man of the household and the Doctor in the house when he's been trying to put down on his wife all throughout the episode and his son, and the Doctor does not take it.
Goes on under my roof is my business.
Not if people are being
I
bundled into...
am talking.
And I'm not listening! Now you, Mr. Conley, you are staring into a deep, dark pit of trouble if you don't let me help. So I'm ordering you, sir, tell me what's going on.
That is a fantastic scene, and I have to give props as well to Rose, because as I've said before in season 2, she's really stepping up to the mark, and this is another episode where you can see that she is becoming more like the Doctor, where she has her own interaction with the man of the household to put him in his place.
We'll have Union Jacks left, right and centre.
Excuse me, Mr. Connolly, hang on a minute. Union Jacks?
Yes, that's right, isn't it?
That's the Union flag. It's the Union Jack only when it's flown at sea.
Oh, I'm sorry. I do apologise.
Oh, don't get it wrong again. There's a good man. Now get to it!
The only problem with Rose is that she disappeared mid-episode because of the fact that she got eaten by the wire and had her face taken off. Which, okay, while I'm on it, I want to address the elephant in the room. The CGI, had it not been for the faceless things, it probably would have scored an acceptable score. But in this one, because of that and how bad it looked, you know, it's definitely going to get a markdown on this. So Rose can't really score more than average, really, for this episode, because of the fact that for the main kind of penultimate climax of the episode, she she disappeared because she's been eaten. Now, the supporting cast were again kind of mixed. I mean, the detectives that were used, they were just there. I felt we had a bit of a waste with the actress playing the Nan, because that was Margaret John, who, if you aren't aware, you haven't seen it, she played Doris, the next door neighbour in Gavin and Stacey, who was one of the most brilliant supporting characters in that show, and I loved her comedy. And in this, she just felt wasted. I don't think she really said much, if anything at all, really, in this. She was just there in the background. She could have been any granny, but a lot more could have been done with an actress of Margaret John's quality. Mum and the son, they did okay. You know, nothing really special to write home about, but I do really like the dad. He was a traditional, pompous, man of the house bloke who literally would put down on his wife and his family and just be an absolute arsehole about it. Could it be argued that he maybe went slightly over the top at sometimes? Maybe, a little bit, but overall I think he did a pretty damn good job in what he needed to do. The music of this episode, I don't think there was anything really stand out for me to really talk about. It was fine. You had action scenes when you needed it, you had the dramatic scenes when you needed it. Not much you can really say. The set and the costumes I love, because again, if you've seen my previous episodes, you'll know that I really do dig historical episodes and the styles that they go for. Particularly, I think at the start of this episode, when you have the Doctor and Rose, they're thinking they're going to America, and so especially the Doctor's got this kind of Elvis Presley style kind of coiffed hair. Rose has got her sort of 50s Dolly Bird kind of cocktail dress, and of course the Vespa, drove a Vespa, some really, really nice moments there for the sets and the costume. I mean, sets wise, from the outside, you could have just gone to any Victorian kind of street in the UK. I mean, literally, the house that I grew up in for the main bulk of my life, you could have gone to that street, taken all the modern cars out, and you're set in the Victorian era, So, the set, as much from the outside you can't talk about, but inside, it looked good. But the biggest strength of this episode, for me, has to be the dialogue. A really well-spoken episode. And I think that's what I want to push home about, because all of the interactions, I think there was nothing that really could have been, gone, oh, if you put this actor in that place, that would have really elevated the scene or anything like that. I don't think you could have done much more with it. It was the dialogue, for me, in this episode, what made it what it was. And maybe with the directing and the acting of The Wire, maybe that brought it down a bit. Maybe the whole feed me and hungry thing could have been better with a better actress in that regard, or with a better direction from that. So it's a hard one with that. So those are my thoughts on the episode. Now, of course, if you've seen my episodes before, you know that I score each episode out of 100 by giving 10 categories a score out of 10. So, let's score the episode. And so, The Idiot's Lantern has scored 60 marks out of 100, which gives it a C rating. And yeah, like I said at the start, this is an episode that I think I definitely understand why I skip it so much. Because it just infuriates me, the villain. Take that aside, it's actually not too bad of an episode. And I'll be honest, I kind of am surprised a little bit in how high this has scored when I, really sit down and think about it. But this is the thing, there are so many episodes with Doctor Who where you can have one amazing moment and then lots of little middling moments. Or you can have a pretty damn good episode, but then it gets really dragged down and let back by one thing. And that happens with every TV show. So you're never going to improve on that. But, again, what are your thoughts of the Idiot's Lantern. Is that something you watch? Is it something you actively skip? Whatever your thoughts are, drop a comment down below. Now, in terms of my content, I'm coming into a period of time which is really exciting for me. Tomorrow, we have another review of Ted Lasso, which is of episode 7 of the first season, Make Rebecca Great Again, which is probably one of the best episodes of any TV show that I've ever seen in its depiction of mental ill health and anxiety. I am really, really proud of that review. On Friday, we have Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania. That gets released in cinemas, so I'll be seeing it on Friday. Then hopefully on Saturday, I'll be able to get out my spoiler-free review. Then coming up on Marvel Monday, this coming Monday, I will release a full spoilered review. And then next Wednesday, of course, is an episode which I absolutely love. Well, should I say 2 episodes? Because it's The Impossible Planet and The Satan Pit. So make sure you join me for those episodes. And of course, Hogwarts Legacy, which streams on Sundays. So please subscribe if you're new. Remember, I'd love to get to 100 subscribers, and I'd love you to help me get there. But leave comments and tell me if you have any suggestions, what are the content you'd like to see. But for now, my name is Kevin, I am a geek, and you have been watching Kevin the Geek. Goodbye.